thank you everyone for coming here. So unfortunately, in today's society we're living with illegal government that does illegal action. We're at the front of Parliament House here, that in 1917 there was a referendum to get rid of Arthur House, the Legislative Council, and people voted no. They wanted to keep it, to safeguard democracy, to work in checks and balances, etc. Yet in 1922, the government went ahead and just dissolved Arthur House. We have, with the lockdown, and I do have a juris doctor law degree, that means anything to anyone, so I'm not making stuff up or whatever, but I submit that the lockdown is completely illegal for multiple grounds. One of which is that the states actually gave quarantine power to the federal government with section 69 of the Constitution. We also have the illegal border lockdowns and internal restrictions where you can only travel 500 kilometres, 50 kilometres. That's prohibited by section 92 of the Constitution. A lot of the people here are here against mandatory vaccinations and mandatory medicine. That is prohibited by section 51, subsection 23A of the Constitution, which allows the government to provide for medical and dental services so long as it does not entail civil conscription. We have various other reasons why the lockdown is illegal. There's been hundreds of millions of dollars of fines given to people falsely arrested under false directions. The directions are not laws, they're not even regulations until they are gazetted in the government gazette. That has not been done. So again, I'd like to thank everyone that's participated, the groups, there's several political parties here. I'm trying to form my own, Reset Parliament, there's IMOP, GAP, several other ones that we've seen, a Civil Liberties guy or whatever.
United we stand!
Yeah, we do!
And most importantly, I'd like to thank you all as individuals, because I've already been having protests here every weekend for a month, and the numbers have varied between 60 to now probably 2,000 people.
Yes!
With the combined efforts. So thank you, and my name's Arjay. Thank you.
We're here every Sunday.
Thank you, Arjay! You're a legend!
Come and support us, brothers and sisters.
About numbers, Greg and my fellow Australians. This is about numbers. This is about beastings going immediately. We are awake, we are aware, we know what's going on, and we need to frighten the living daylights out of these people. There needs to be millions of these emails sent tonight to the Governor General. That's how serious this matter is, Australia. Like I said, I'll end this video now, and I'll come back on in 5 minutes' time.
There'll be troublemakers here, don't worry about that.
Yeah.
I'll have a few that they've thrown in there.
To you, you need to understand what Scott Morrison announced.
Got to discredit people somehow, don't they?
Effectively removing state governments.
Yeah, it's got nice legs too, eh?
So far I've checked out a car when there's a girl looking at me, and she's like, what the hell are you doing? Nearly walked into her. Now I'm checking out the protest while you're checking out the ladies.
Some might get it overseas, but doesn't matter, they might have the lashes in here.
Yeah, isn't that beautiful? 1,000 people probably at the protest, and this time their 8 police officers will be overwhelmed. There's even Japanese calligraphy. Proud of my fellow Australians today. Freedom's popular today. So I just have to go speak to them first and say, hey, I'm here about my protest. Look, he's got church groups and everything. Come on. G'day. So, you know, I'm one of the organisers for one of the many protests.
Sure.
But I've just got 10 people. So.
Oh, okay, no worries. Yeah, we just had a chat to someone.
Yep.
So, yeah, what's your group that you're
Reset Parliament.
Reset Parliament. Okay.
Yeah, so I've got to
Were you here
authorise.
last week as well?
Yes, that's right. And then I think there's, you know, obviously a lot of different
other groups that have jumped on?
church ones and
Yeah.
red flag people.
There wasn't this many here last week, I'm assuming?
No, we had 8 police officers for, I think, 9 people.
Okay.
That includes the ones that joined us on the way.
All right.
But there's also people who have been protesting at Speaker's Corner anyway every weekend, so interesting,
What's your
though.
name,
Arjay Martin.
Oh, yeah, I think I've got that.
So how many official, like, authorised protests are there here today?
Mate, there's a few. There's one other, but I think it's just expanded into people sending their message for different things. So.
No worries. Maybe it might have helped too yesterday that I had a protest planned for Surfers Paradise yesterday and then had to go to court about it even though the magistrate stuffed up. Like maybe people are being pissed off that, you know, people aren't allowed to protest.
Yeah.
But anyway, it just makes me happy that people actually bothering to do it. Anyway,
All right.
so I just go to the bathroom and can go around and you know. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll wait for you anyway.
Yeah, no worries. Cheerio. Oh, hello. Hello. Not too bad.
Met a friend of mine. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too.
Okay. Have you met Sid before? Who? Sid?
No.
I'm just going to go to the bathroom. Oh, Sid.
You look pretty dressed up today.
Yeah. Instead of my normal bum style. I'm proud of people turning
I
up.
know, isn't it wonderful?
So this is Sid.
Hello.
Angela, what was your name again? Helga.
Helga.
Anyway, I'll be back. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the people that say, well, it takes me 40 minutes to get there, I'll leave at 20 past. Yeah. And there's absolutely no room for like the fact there might be a red light or anything like that. It's just absolutely ridiculous to get there. So there'll be a lot of those sort of people around. What's back to it?
Do you know Tristan at all?
Tristan.
Yeah.
Is that Tricky's? No.
He's the organised.
So I know online Tricky Trish, I think it is, for the picnic one. And there's also Steph Nelson is somewhat involved with the Millions March. Then I'm one of the organisers for the Reset Parliament one.
So there's different protests happening today?
Yeah, that's right.
Right. So where's the other location?
It's my belief that they're all pretty much starting here, besides the people that have already been protesting at Speaker's Corner all the time anyway.
Right, okay.
And then we're going to Speaker's Corner, and it's all, as far as I know, starting roughly 1 o'clock and finishing at 3 o'clock.
Yeah. Where it's 1 o'clock now. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
No worries.
Good on you.
Cheerio. G'day.
Oh yeah, try it. Yeah.
G'day. So, as a point of interest, were there other leaders or organisers or whatever, just because maybe it makes sense if we're trying to coordinate with them together? So, I've got a set route, for instance, but if they're going a different way, then
so
maybe...
what's your set route? Where are you
So, I'm supposed to be going left here, then right, then left into George Street, and along Alice Street, I think, but just, for police resources, obviously, then...
Well, mate, I can tell you, that group,
Yeah.
which is predominantly one group,
Yeah?
their intention is to go right into Adelaide Street, up to George, left and straight down to Parliament.
Okay, that's what I did last week.
Mate, I can tell you now,
Yep.
from a police resources perspective, that's what we're going to be looking after, because
Yep.
that's going to be the largest number.
So-
if you guys choose to go a different route, there's a
Yep.
strong chance you're on your own.
Yeah, so no worries.
Yeah.
So I'm therefore permitted to change a route
Yes.
just to...
Mate,
okay.
I would say if the majority of people are going that way,
Yeah, just
you
make
would want
it
to go
easier.
that way.
Yeah, especially if so many
Because
people might have to close streets.
the reality is, if you guys go a different route,
Yeah.
we may not have the resources to be able to close the roads and keep you safe.
Yep, no worries. Okay, thank you. Yeah, so we're changing our route now because the police said that. I said, hey, wouldn't it be better if we all go the same way, because there's a lot of people here for the police to look after, and Adam. And then they said, yeah, we just change the route. It'll be better. There you go.
There you go. How's things?
Good.
Like a fair number.
Yeah.
Ooh, Jesus.
Happy now compared to last week. Or
You
whatever.
happy?
Yeah, that a lot of people have turned up and they actually care.
Yeah.
We've been protesting for past month, mainly at Speaker's Corner, and there's been probably 60 people the first week that I went there, and then say, "G'day."
What's your name this time?
Then,
What's your name?
Arjay Martin.
Arjay Martin.
What's your name?
Kevin.
Nice to meet you. Yeah, so then I had caught about a protest for Surfers Paradise that was planned for tomorrow, yes. So I had the court yesterday, but then, this will be funny. I'll be like, maybe we shouldn't ban protest.
Yeah, I know.
That's so stupid. I got
just
approved for
players,
here,
yeah.
but not for there.
And they knock it back there.
Yeah. And
exactly the case.
yeah, and a magistrate stuffed up as well for various reasons. But
Yeah,
I'll make a video on it. So.
Yeah, no doubt.
But
Good work, brother.
yeah.
Good work.
No worries.
They're making it hard.
Yeah. Anyway, I go around and ask people why they're here and stuff like that.
Yes.
I'm doing the same thing about seas with electronic voting.
Yeah.
I can't see anyone else coming up with a concept that's going to solve as many issues simultaneously as hooking up that MyGov site to a Facebook-like format where we can all interact like one big think tank. No overseas trolls, no fake IDs, just united in what we're... And by all means, disagree with people, but you'll find out what the real majority wants. Absolutely.
And then you can also have it easier that both sides, or all relevant sides of the debate, can be communicated too. It's not up to whoever's got the most resources.
You here can talk to someone in Perth, Darwin and Melbourne at the same time, instantaneously electronically. Instead of going through these, pardon me if you're recording, these F-wits here, going, oh no, we represent the people. No, they don't. They actually represent their party.
And themselves.
They not represent, they're going off the corporate constitution. Not the Constitution of Australia. Exactly, which is again something we could all address on that site.
Anyway, so I better go interviewing people too. I'm not sure what the other groups are doing in terms of what time. So what we did last week, you weren't here for this part, I don't think.
Down there.
So it was like probably 40 minutes, like 20 minutes too, that we then left. So hopefully they do similar.
Go with the flow,
no worries. Cheerio. Hello, would you like to say why you're here, why it's important to you?
I think it's important. Now, I've never protested ever in my life. But I feel like our freedoms have been taken away right now. I feel like there is an agenda. And I am totally about keeping yourself healthy with good food, hygiene, fresh water, looking after your own health. What I want the government to do for me is look after my freedom.
Okay.
And that's basically, and I feel like we all need to wake up to what's going on. I've never in my life thought so much that the media are lying. Up until 6 months ago, I trusted the government. Now I can see a different agenda, and I think it's great that everyone has turned up today.
Especially last week I had a protest and there's like 9 people here, but they were more at Speaker's Corner because of people protesting from different groups and whatever, but so joyful coming here and seeing all these people here.
It is, and every day the news is looking more and more positive, so it's great.
Thank you. Hey Helga, do you want to say why you find it important to be here today, why you came?
We need our freedom of choice.
It's as simple as that, isn't it?
It is that simple.
We're all supposed to be adults, not have a patriarchal or maternalistic, whatever you want to call it, government that pretends they're your parent and they have to make choices for you.
We're all human. We all deserve to have our freedom of choice.
Thank you. Cheerio. Would you like to say why you're interested in coming here today?
Here to stand up for our rights, mate. Like government's been having a wool pulled over our eyes for so many years. So Great Awakening 2020 vision. So it's all coming out.
That's excellent. Anyone else want to say anything? No worries. Hello, would you like to say on the camera why you're interested in being here? No worries. G'day, would you like to say why you're interested in being here today?
No, not for us.
No worries. That's fine. G'day. Would you like to say on camera why you're interested in coming here today? Like why you think it's important?
What is your affiliation?
So I'm the organiser of one of the protests. So there's a bunch of protests here simultaneously. So like I had an authorised one here last week. I was just in the news too yesterday. I was in court about a Surfers Paradise protest that was planned for tomorrow. And then that basically got rejected, which there's grounds for appealing that decision anyway, and it just shows how absurd it is that, I got approved for Brisbane but not for Surfers Paradise anyway. So I'm just going around and asking people, why they think it's important to be here, so that, it's not like the media just records people if there's some plants in there being destructive and saying, all these people are nutters and whatever. So, would you like to say why you're interested?
Yeah, happy to. Yeah.
Okay.
Hello. Hey,
just want to keep my freedom of choice. This is why I'm here.
Okay, cool accent you got, by the way. Where's it from? Germany? Okay.
But we've been here for 15 years, so...
That's all right.
Thank you.
Cheerio. Hello, would you like to say why you find it important to be here today? On my Facebook group, which is Arjay Martins for Australians. I'm one of the organisers for the protests. There's various protests here.
I can turn my back.
Oh, wow, hang on.
We need politicians, not puppets. Corruption is not a conspiracy. It is technically. There's a crime of conspiracy.
Well, we read between the lines.
Oh, Kermit the Frog. And what's that, Little Miss Piggy?
It's a Muppet show.
Yeah.
That's running this country at the moment.
Yeah. And why do you find it important to be here?
To end the lockdown. We need to get this country up and running.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know...
The government needs to get out of people's lives.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, it's even so hypocritical that, you know, the virus is so smart it knows not to spread at Woolworths or Coles,
That's
but,
right.
you know, little guy with the corner store or something has to be closed down.
Absolutely. It doesn't make any sense.
Right, so it's not about a virus. It needs
Yeah.
a witch of a medical
And I might be taking her to a tribunal next week, maybe.
That'd be good.
Jeanette Young. Cheerio. G'day, would you like to say why you find it important to be here?
Absolutely.
Okay, go.
I'm here to support vaccine awareness because I'm vaccine injured after receiving 6 shots, travel vaccines.
Yeah.
Within 7 days I had my first asthma attack and now I'm asthmatic.
Oh, okay.
I was never told of the side effects of vaccines.
Yeah.
So I just basically took it that they were safe when they're not.
Yeah, and that's also against the fully informed consent.
Yeah.
Doctors are supposed to tell you about alternatives, about, you know, what might happen if you take it, positive and negative, that kind of thing as well.
Yeah.
But they never do, it seems. Okay, thank you. G'day, would you like to say why you're here today? Why you find it important? No worries. G'day, would you like to say on camera why you find it important to be here? That kind of thing?
Not on camera.
Yeah, no worries, that's fine. G'day, would you like to say why you find it important to be here today? What do you think of the protests, something like that?
No, it's all good, mate. Just here supporting.
No worries.
Do another lap and I'll think about it and get the courage.
That's all right. Thank you. G'day, would you like to go on camera saying why you think it's important to do a protest or why you're here today?
Wait a minute. I can do about... Who are you?
I'm Arjay Martin, so I have one of the authorised protests here. Yep.
Any kind of therapy, medical therapy against that will it's actually assault, and they can't make a legislation to give them a right to assault that.
Yeah.
Particularly when they'll say that it's safe on short-term study and they're not probably looking at long-term effects
Yep.
for autoimmunity. They've never really done any successful RNA vaccines. They've spent billions of dollars looking at HIV vaccinations and other virus, and have yet to produce a successful retroviral vaccine for HIV.
Yep.
So by mandating immediately the entire globe, according to Bill Gates, gets vaccinated, that's a massive human experiment against our will, which is also against Nuremberg, and somehow the money can buy the WHO and the UN to tell our government that we must do against our will. We have no legal recourse to it.
Yeah.
And they may be threatening, pensions or income for those who capacity to use a shopping centre, or all sorts of threats for those who fear to have an unknown substance potentially harm them for undetermined risk. There's going to be no ability to see when benefits of such a vaccine would occur without studying thousands of people in a controlled manner, and that's never going to happen.
And they never talk about things like self-adapted viruses and all this other stuff as
that's
well.
why we get a new flu virus every year, because the flu mutates, and these retroviruses are going to mutate as well very easily. They're very small. They don't talk about nutrition and other way. They're wasting a lot of money on these experiments. And then there's the whole Fauci's wife being the person who's making ethical approval to do these sort of experimentations. So it's a very in-house thing. And there's patents involved.
Hadn't heard of that one. But
there's a bigger rabbit hole there. I'm interested in, but won't speak it with expertise upon.
And then you're saying about medical marijuana. One problem with that that I find is that THC is an active component that makes people happy or whatever with marijuana. Yet it's banned from medical marijuana.
No, that's THC. I can get THC 18%. But this is Canadian. That's $300 for 10 grams.
Oh, okay.
The doctors just told me that their local Burlington cannabis is online, and I've applied for approval of that. $125 for 10 grams, same as black market.
Okay, so same.
I'll have to try the quality. I'll tell you if it's as Nimbin.
So what I was going to say though is it's proven, even though science doesn't prove anything, but it's THC, particularly Delta 8 and Delta 9, that induces apoptosis in cancerous cells.
There's 5 different mechanisms of which cannabis. So there's apoptosis, impaired metastases, reduced angiogenesis, reduced DNA mutations, and also being I'm trying not to get on my high horse in my soapbox. I love it. THC also, when you've got like PTSD, there's a nature study with functional MRI scanning for THC receptors, CB1 receptors, which is THC. And a normal brain doesn't have many CB1 receptors, but a person who's got PTSD, their brain is massively upregulated the CB1 receptors. It's crying out for THC.
So they need more to calm their brain down.
So when they get that, they will get a response which it's called fear extinction. They'll actually stop the ruminations of fear and it'll get them out of that limbic system. Do you want to, I don't know. So anyway, it's great for PTSD, which we've known since Vietnam War, but a lot of people are in jail for it, particularly in Queensland.
Yeah, it's stupid. Okay, thanks for your time. I might as well go over here because it sounds like they're doing some speeches then. Thank you, bye. I think some people are doing speeches. Excuse me, sorry.
Because for me, the Magna Carta is the only system that hasn't been tainted by the church. So, how's it going, handsome man?
Not too bad.
You're dressed up to the hilt today, aren't you?
Yeah, look a bit better than last week.
Yeah. You're not anti-fashion this week. Good to see you, AJ.
Cheers.
Hey, mate. So, you're going to give a speech?
Sure. So, I'm not sure exactly what they're doing here, if they're doing speeches here or doing it at Parliament.
Yep.
So, that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
You should give one too.
Oh, I'm inspired, yeah, I could definitely do that, mate. Well,
I'm so proud I finally walked down, a bit of Queen Street Mall or the cross section of it or whatever, and then, see all these people, as opposed to...
I'm just hoping I didn't leave my speech at home.
Where are they all?
No, I got it.
So I'm not sure where the other people are doing speeches, as I said, with the police, but we're not in the same group, of course, but now it can be coordinated, if that makes sense.
Do we have a permit?
So I've got a permit for my one. I'm not sure about the other groups, but then the police have already said that I can vary my route to Parliament as well. So it seems that they're happy for us to work together, which I was happy to do anyway. But that way, there's less problems. But I'm not sure if they're going to do speeches here or they're going to walk to, Speaker's Corner. Yeah. G'day. Not too bad. Arjay Martin. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, unfortunately.
That's funny, that shirt. It reminds me of the, London Underground.
Only when I had long hair and a ponytail, perhaps.
I just only made it up today.
No, it did.
Turnout.
It's cool.
Finally, good to see a turnout. You know, we've been doing this every week.
And why do you think it's important to be here?
20, 30 of us, but this week we've got a real turnout.
Life's so bad, I have to be here.
Yeah. And that's why they blocked the bridge. That's why they shut bloody Captain Cook Bridge, you know. Oh, we're doing traffic work. Did someone come in from the north and notice they closed the bridge on the north side as well? I'd like to find out, you know. I certainly wouldn't be surprised. Anyway, you know, yeah, they're trying to defuse us, you know, trying to redirect us.
More deaths and destruction.
Yep. Okay, thank you. That's awesome.
I should bring a little bit of plastic for you to put on the back so it makes it stiffer.
Do you want to say on camera why you're here and why, you know, you think that's important, which I also think is important? Like, you can explain.
When there is danger, there is choice.
Yeah.
There's no way that I will ever allow someone to put in my body anything that is not because of being tested.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Yeah, and you want to explain the sign? I know what it's about, but do you want to explain it?
Random. Okay, I have another one. I'm not sure which one.
Oh, okay.
Thank you so much. Well, there hasn't been any randomized double-blind placebo tests for vaccines.
And using real placebos as opposed to ones that are filled with adjuvants and whatever and just not the active component.
I demand that those are done first before asking people to blindly accept vaccinations.
Yeah.
Especially if they're mandatory.
Yep, and with normal consumer law, there's very stringent things in place to make sure that, you know, little tyres don't break off little kids' cars or whatever and choke the kids, but it seems that some industries are immune from that.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Really challenging to me.
Hello.
I haven't met you in person, but I've seen you online.
Are you Andrew? Yeah, a little bit.
My internet name is John Lord.
John Lord. Ah, okay. Cool.
But I'm Ross.
Okay, and just so you know, you are on camera. I'm just filming. Do you want to say why it's important to be here today?
Because, you know, we have to stand up for this.
Yep.
And get rid of these scumbags.
Cool. Had an authorised protest here last week too, but not many people attended my particular one. There were more people at Speaker's Corner, but I was so proud coming here and seeing all these people, you know, actually caring and showing up for once.
What happened to your court case?
Yeah, so it could well also be why there's extra people here, maybe. But there's basically a travesty. The court wouldn't allow any supporters in. Before the court, they actually went to, like, they had a security guard come out asking, what case are you here for, what case are you here for, until they got to me. And then they said, you can't have supporters here, blah, blah, blah. And then the magistrate actually stuffed up in a few different ways, so I'm going to appeal that, but I don't want to tell everyone how that happened, maybe. I might make a video on it tonight, maybe. But basically the judge claimed that I didn't fill in the form properly for the protest, which I did, but he didn't accept the description of unknown for stoppage points and stopping times. He said that's a non-answer, so therefore there was a threshold issue, but really that meant that the police case should have been dismissed, as well as other grounds. They didn't even let me speak in there, basically, besides answering my name. But, you know, it'll be interesting to see what happens at appeal. But unfortunately, it'll be in the same building, though. You know, district court and the magistrates court, same building. They probably all know each other. But it's actually live.
Are you going to be speaking today?
Sure, I guess so. See what they say. Yep, no worries.
Nice atmosphere, isn't it?
Yeah. Until the police come and start beating people up.
Won't give them any reason to.
Yeah.
Oh, now that's the first camera I've seen.
Yep.
Who's he from?
I'm not sure. Why do you think it's important to be here today?
What was that? Why am I here?
Yeah.
I'm the leader of the party called Civil Liberties Party. Civil Liberties Party.
Yep.
And we'll be standing candidates at the coming Queensland election. Standing candidates for civil liberties, to bring back our rights, to give people the opportunity to start their jobs again, start their lives again, get their freedoms back. So please, at the election, vote for civil liberties, kick out these nannies in the ALP and LNP. What's the difference between changing nannies? Nanny Anna or Nanny Deb? They're all nannies. They want to control you and treat you like children. We are adults.
Yep.
Vote for civil liberties.
And what's your name?
Well, my name is Jeffrey Hodges, Civil Liberties Party.
I'm Arjay Martin.
Thank you,
Reset
Arjay.
Parliament. Thank you.
Welcome, everybody. What a beautiful day for a picnic. Please be silent with your thoughts and join as one while we honour the warriors, past, present and future, that have dedicated their lives and will dedicate their lives to the well-being of the planet and of the future generations. Thank you.
Waramuni Anikana Jansen, Mwampa Yatayuba Nango, Dankan Banyalang Wanarua, Bintankan Birigaba Kangaloo, Kaikal Yagara, and Turabul. Or in English, hello everyone. First and foremost, we follow proper protocol here in this sacred space and acknowledge the local custodians, the caretakers of country that have been here since millennia. In Brisbane, on the south side, we have the Yagara people, and on the north side of that Brisbane River, or the Maiwa, we have the Turrbal people. We pay our respects to our elders, our honourable ancestors, and to the energy that you bring into this space as well. acknowledge the 3 generations of my family that are here, because this is exactly what my parents and grandparents used to do. All around Australia, bringing us to protest, teaching us to stand up for my rights. I've got my children here, my granddaughter here. Because my parents and grandparents have passed away, so it's up to us to pick up where our old people left off, and that's exactly what I'll do. I'll honour my parents and grandparents and honourable ancestors' legacies by bringing my children and grandchildren and future generations to fight for all of our future generations, and that's why we're all here today. But I think it's really important that we start with a minute's silence to pay our respects to all the freedom fighters long before us who paved the way for us to be here today. So I'll hand it over to Tiger Boy. Woo! Thank you, sister. And we do acknowledge all sovereign nations. We are all sovereign autonomous beings. So I'd just like to read a few words from my sister who couldn't make it today. It says, our family, along with many others, having been fighting the good fight here in this country for half a century. My parents and grandparents we've seen locked up and incarcerated for doing exactly what we're doing here today. Standing up and fighting for what we believe in, fighting for what we know is right. And we just so happen to be a massive family, healthy, unvaccinated family for generations. Pro-policers and freedom fighters. We come from the oldest people on the planet, and there are very few of us who can declare we lived in peace, balance and harmony. Exactly what is needed right here, right now, more than ever. We lived through not only invasion and massacres, but ice ages, floods, fires, darkness. We know a thing or two about survival after the thousands and thousands of years of being in tune with Mother Nature and abiding by the natural laws of the universe, as many of our brothers and sisters here today and Indigenous people around the world. Woo! It's such a humbling experience to be able to share these words on behalf of my family, because we believe the role of Indigenous people, First Nations people, sovereign autonomous people across this world is in fact to actually liberate not just ourselves, but to liberate others from these oppressive values of greed and fear of the other, because they are the things that ultimately are running the whole human race into the ground. As many of you here today will know, this struggle is taxing and toxic. The attacks never ending and the corruption runs deeper than ever. But do you realise it would only take less than 10% of us to become self-sufficient for the elite's game to be over. That's exactly how fragile their power structures are. And as observers, we feel the only way to win this once and for all is to hit them where it hurts the most, in the pocket. So to organise regular days of divesting, starting on the last Friday of every month or even weekly for the hardcore change makers, global boycotts of mainstream media, shopping centres, chemists, banks and big petrol chains. I think that's the only way that we'll actually get our point across. The true history of this country and many others is hidden from us all on purpose, to keep us from tapping into our ancient wisdom needed to navigate these treacherous times. And as the ultimate humanitarians, the ultimate environmentalists, conservationists, strategic planners, healers, we feel it's time to return to our old ways. Time to sit with our elders, with our spirit guides. Because out of darkness comes light. And everyone, so now is the time to organise around things that matter to all of us, as we did before invasion over 250 years ago. So it's good that we can come together on common ground with mutual respect. And we pay our respects to the organisers. Thanks, brother, for all the hard work. I know it's not easy, especially in times like this. But let's remember those gone before us. And I'll leave you with the quote that my grandmother Maureen Watson would say. For your actions today, will you be an honourable ancestor to the children of the future? And I take that as a yes from each and every single one of you here today. Because just by being here today shows that we are not going to sit and suffer in silence. We are going to stand and fight for our children, for your children, for future generations. And that is our obligation. Because what is the opposite to divide and conquer? The opposite to that Western mentality that we've been brainwashed and conditioned to, that Western mentality of divide and conquer. The opposite to that is what our people have known since millennia. It is to love and connect and unite, and that's what we're all doing here today. So thank you very much.
Everybody here at the back? Well, I think I'm close to the front, give us a big hug. Man, I'm pumped. I thought I was going to be a little more nervous, but I'm a little bit nervous, but mainly pumped. The energy I'm getting off the crowd right now is awesome, man. Good work, everyone. So everyone here has already done the hard part, which is getting off the bums and getting out here today to join the people as one. So congratulations to everyone here. That's the good news. The bad news is we have a monumental task ahead of us. If you're here, you know we're in trouble. We are under attack. Not just Australians, but the people of the world. We are under attack. We're under attack by the sinister agenda of the private corporations and the families that control our governments. Our governments are under control. This whole scamdemic is nothing but a tool being used to create fear through the mainstream media. Through the fear generated by the mainstream media, people are being persuaded to accept these illogical, irrational, and absurd draconian control measures. These control measures are not aimed at protecting us. Don't be fooled. They're aimed at the oppression and the total control of the people. They don't care about us. Now I'm about to speak to police, and as I look around, there are many of the police officers here today. I'd like to thank them for allowing us to exercise our rights in a peaceful fashion. Thank you guys. I'm sure if we treat them with respect, they will reciprocate. Firstly, I'd like to acknowledge that their job is dangerous, and that their job requires them to uphold the law. There has to be a certain amount of respect shown to anyone that upholds the law. But when that person finds that they are being ordered to suppress the people that are standing up for the future of our younger generations, or that they are being ordered to uphold a law that no longer makes sense, then that person has a moral dilemma that needs dealing with. And none of these COVID laws make sense. There's been 100 deaths out of a population of 26 million. Just 100. That's 0.00003% of the population. Now what's quarantine? Quarantine is when you take people with a disease and isolate them. Never has quarantine meant locking up 26 million people indoors. You don't lock a country down unless there is a sinister agenda behind it. If anything, you isolate the at-risk and the susceptible members of the population and you support them as a community. As a result of these ridiculous lockdowns, people have lost their jobs, people have lost their businesses, people have lost their homes, people have committed suicide, and domestic violence has skyrocketed for 100 deaths. Supposed deaths, I should add. It is completely obvious that the fallout from these sinister control measures have resulted in far greater damage than the virus itself. The average age of the deceased was 80 years old. Almost every one of the deceased had pre-existing serious underlying issues. There's a big difference between dying from COVID and dying with COVID. And doctors from around the world have stated that they have received documents from the health departments and the CDC explaining that even if they have a tiny suspicion that the patient may have COVID, there is no need to perform a diagnosis test, simply write down COVID-19 on the death certificate. To jack in the numbers, guys. Why? Why would a government that cares about its people have to inflate numbers and make things up? The flu takes at least 10 more lives, 10 times more lives than COVID has in Australia every single year. Where are the lockdowns for the flu? 4,000 deaths from accidental falls every year in Australia, just to put things into perspective. 4,000 deaths from accidental falls. 100 have died from COVID. Now consider the spike in suicides.
Thank you everyone for coming here. So unfortunately, in today's society we're living with illegal government that does illegal action. We're at the front of Parliament House here, that in 1917 there was a referendum to get rid of the House, the Legislative Council, and people voted no, they wanted to keep it, to safeguard democracy, to work in checks and balances, etc. Yet in 1922 the government went ahead and just dissolved the House. We have with the lockdown, and I do have a juris doctor law degree, if that means anything to anyone, so no, I'm not just making stuff up or whatever, but I submit that the lockdown is completely illegal for a multiple grounds. One of which is that the state actually gave quarantine power to the federal government with section 69 of the Constitution. We also have the illegal border lockdowns and internal restrictions where you can only travel 500 kilometres, 50 kilometres. That's prohibited by section 92 of the Constitution. A lot of the people here are here against mandatory vaccinations and mandatory medicine. That is prohibited by section 51, subsection 23A of the Constitution, which allows the government to provide for medical and dental services so long as it does not entail civil conscription. We have various other reasons why the lockdown is illegal. There's been hundreds of millions of dollars of fines given to people falsely arrested under false directions. The directions are not laws, They're not even regulations until they are gazetted in the Government Gazette. That has not been done. So again, I'd like to thank everyone that's participated, the groups, you know, there's several political parties here. I'm trying to form my own, Reset Parliament, there's IMOP, GAP, several other ones that we've seen, a Civil Liberties guy or whatever.
United we stand!
Yeah, we do! And most importantly, I'd like to thank you all as individuals, because I've already been having protests here every weekend for a month, and the numbers have varied between 60 to now probably 2,000 people.
Yes!
With the combined efforts of so thank you, and my name's Arjay. Thank you.
We're here every Sunday.
Thank you, Arjay. You're a legend.
Come and support us, brothers and sisters.